Andy, lovely to speak to you today. Now, what an incredible career you have. You are overseeing the creation of one of the largest AI platforms in the Middle East. You're seen as quite a serious rival to even OpenAI. Now, you were at the World Economic Forum in Davos last week. You were in the room in front of President Trump as well. Tell me, what were global leaders asking you last week about tech behind closed doors?
I think everyone's trying to understand where AI is going. I think there's big conversations around AI literacy and also sovereignty, how sovereignty is going to really play into, I guess, every government's kind of agenda, and really how to bring that forward as a national priority.
Where are the biggest gaps in the market when it comes to deploying AI at national scale? Of course, this is something you've been discussing in Abu Dhabi today. Where are the real bottlenecks for governments today?
Yeah, I think culture and literacy is where it starts. I think people have heard a lot about AI, but how to convert this kind of, I guess, what's analogous to electricity into kind of applications that can really drive kind of value is really hard. So that kind of, I guess, that last mile problem of turning this kind of energy into kind of, I guess, commercial value is the hardest part, or even societal value is one of the hardest parts. Add, I guess, some element of sovereignty into that, be it data sovereignty, compute sovereignty, and also model sovereignty into that kind of, I guess, misunderstanding of AI, because I think everyone's trying to understand what it all means, but I think it's such a nascent field that people are kind of a little bit confused. So I had a lot of kind of like, here's an embarrassing question from our leaders last week. So it was interesting how much people kind of spoke, but how little they actually understood really.
What is key to fixing that? Obviously, we're seeing a talent gap in many countries around the world. Is it concerning that global leaders are also echoing this? How do we try and overcome that?
Well, I think we're already doing a great job of it here in UAE. We're working, I mean, we have a university that was the world's first AI university, the first AI minister. But I think at the grassroots level, we're doing a lot of things that educate not just the top 1%, but also like everybody else. We have kind of programs like Core42 that we're running, which really is kind of training people from the ground up, bringing people out of unemployment, giving them new jobs in the AI economy. So I think, across the ecosystem here, from schools, we're working very much with academia to bring AI into every school, into every academic, I guess, institution. So I think it's really happening. It's already happening. It's just taking some time to kind of filter up as much as anything. So at the ground roots, there's a lot of activity. It's just really taking some time to percolate.
Absolutely, it's really got to be delivered at the grassroots program around the world to really see that impact. Now, of course, another concern about having access to those advanced AI chips as well. This is something you've been doing a lot of work in as well. Tell me about that.
I think G42 in particular, as part of the Abu Dhabi kind of ecosystem, has worked very hard to get access to the kind of advanced chips. But we work, I mean, when I started this recently, on the kind of generative AI side, which is kind of a relatively new thing. We've been working in AI before this, so we've been doing this a long time. But as our Sam Altman said, we've been doing it before it became cool. I think the chips are one part of the story, and we have access to those. We've been using those across the world. We've had supercomputers all over the US. So I think, bringing it here will open up a whole new, I guess, stream of what is possible, and it will also open up a whole new economy here, as well as a whole new industry. So I think that's what's really exciting about getting the chips here and getting everything set up as part of our Stargate program. It's the fastest growing data center in the world, the fastest built data center in the world. We're going to be working, to bring out literally megawatts per quarter, hundreds of megawatts per quarter. So I think it's vastly exciting. It's also transformational for the country, right? We're going to go from being a kind of energy exporter to an intelligence exporter, which is amazing, for a country that's only, over 50 years old. But again, it's thanks to the vision of the leadership, thanks to the commitment of the country, and then also the hard work of the people who are working day and night behind the scenes, trying to make all this happen.
And the transformation really is quite remarkable, as you mentioned, diversifying beyond hydrocarbons. And let's be honest, the UAE is working with some of the biggest tech names in the world. Tell me about your experience with Microsoft. Last year, you launched the Responsible AI framework. What are some of the incentives and challenges and I guess importance about making sure that we can prioritize regulation alongside the scale and speed of AI adoption?
Yeah, I mean, we started working with Microsoft across the board, obviously, from cloud all the way to AI. However, responsible AI being kind of a subsection of that is very important. We, I suppose, started working with them to kind of take their best practice and implement it in G42 and across our ecosystem here in UAE. And that's one part of it. We published transparency reports, we published safety frameworks, we've done a lot of work in this area, and it's going to continue. Again, this technology is only at its beginning. I think there's a long way to go. But I think, on top of all this, we've tried to externalize for the community in the form of a Responsible AI Foundation with Microsoft and BZU AI, which we're very proud of, led by Baroness Joanna Shields. So I think, we're doing a huge amount in this area. And it takes a lot to get going. But I think once it gets up and running at pace, we're going to do a lot more. And also, I think we're coming up to the Japan AI Summit, which is critical for us. We're going to be doing a lot of releases at that.
Can you give us a hint?
Well, I think it's just going to be an extension of what we've already done. I think it's nothing necessarily new, but what we're doing is kind of extending what we've already done. We have done some transformative work with some of our partners, including OpenAI, and I hope that some of that will become showcased at that event.
Pretty exciting. Now, you really are a trailblazer in the region, of course, launching JACE, Arabic language platform, and quite important for the region because we don't see Arabic, in a lot of these open AI models so far. You've just added Hindi as well. Tell me about that. What has it taught you in terms of the real-life adoption of AI in the world today?
I mean, I think it's really informed the JACE experience in general has massively informed how we look at AI. I mean, we built it from the ground up for a specific language. We built it from the ground up for specific, industries as well, from energy to healthcare. We did a genomics model. We've done models for investment in terms of Mubadala, and it just continues out from there. So we've done a lot of domain-specific models, and really, I think that learning is really kind of, I suppose, it's self-fulfilling in that it keeps kind of returning more information. We get better and better and better at what we're doing. And ultimately, I think this is why we're becoming a world leader in the space. If not, one of the top companies in the world at what we're doing. We have more access to more problems. We have compute. We have massively talented people. We have amazing leadership that really kind of show us the way. So we're kind of blessed in all regards. And I think you've heard a lot of that at today's meeting. We were represented today by investors, academics, and also government, and we're all in full alignment. So this is what makes UAE and Abu Dhabi unique, that we have such an alignment that we can really move faster and with more kind of conviction than many other countries.
Final question for you. What is going to have the biggest impact on AI adoption in the next 12 months? Where are we going to see the biggest shift? Is there anything that's going to be a big surprise on the horizon?
I mean, we never know what's coming next. Every month, I think at this stage, there's something new that comes out that's mind-blowing. Today we heard a lot about world models. The university and BZU AI has released PAN, but we're also hearing about world models from Fei Li, from many different corners, including our own company, Analog. So I think there's going to be a lot more innovation that comes, which is going to change the game. So I do think that that's the kind of spiking forward. AI for science is something I'm super passionate about. I mean, I was on stage last week with Periodic, an amazing company out of Silicon Valley that are blazing in this area. Also, Microsoft are working very heavily in this area, as well as other companies around the world. So I think this is a real breakthrough area. I think when you really try and change the world of physics and material science, as well as biology, it's fundamental to what we do and how we live. So I think there's going to be massive breakthroughs that we never even considered possible in those areas. But I think for broader adoption, it's already happening. I mean, my own wife and children are massive consumers of AI already, all right? I mean, in my house, AI is used every day of the week. for obviously for homework, but then also for like vets visits for anything medical in the house. It's the first go-to instead of going to a doctor now. So it's the kind of first port of call before we kind of, okay, do we really need to go to the doctor, or can I just ask AI? So I think it's fundamental to our lives now. It's become something that is just entrenched in everyday life.
Pretty exciting to be at the helm of it. Well, Dr. Andy Jackson, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.